Heather from Smith Math.
Okay.
When I graduate, and what responsibilities do bloggers have to verify the validity of what they're provided to post?
I have missed more than one story because I held off. Sometimes a legitimate story. I will not run with something just because somebody puts it in my lap. I know people who have it, they look really stupid. There's no legal requirement to disclose, there's no legal requirement to do your homework, but it comes down to this. Do you want people to trust you? Do you want people to respect you at the end of the day? Or do you want to be seen as some scale that nobody likes or trust? So these are standards that are not mandated by law, but do we have our own ethical standards by which we set these? I have mine which says I want to be liked, I want to be respected. I've got a 12-year-old daughter who reads my site. So there's another blogger who likes to put up basically porn on his site. I can't wait for the day that his daughter goes and sees Daddy's website. I can't wait for that day, how he explains this. My daughter, however, doesn't have to have that. I also have students, I teach communication. Do I have an obligation to practice it? Because I can assure you that if I don't communicate ethically, I'm going to hear it from my students. Because especially in public speaking, well, the first thing I talk about is Aristotle's. And you all know who Aristotle is? You know about its three proofs? Logos, pathos, and ethos? Who's familiar with those? Who knows them?
Sarah.
Tell me what logos is.
They're not like logic.
Logical proof.
Yeah.
Pathos. What's pathos?
Emotional.
Emotional appeal. And ethos. Your own credibility.
Yeah.
So when I talk to my students about those three things, and I'm a scoundrel and a liar on my website, what are some of my students going to say? Because do they do their homework on me? And when you go to college, you better do your homework from your faculty. You better. Two reasons. One, because you made it at the rotten apple. Two, because you made, if you go look in the work of your college calls their database of academic journals, most faculty are published. You find their papers. You find their interest. And you play off that. You know, one of my professors does, you know, he does a lot of research on religious communication. And we had some common interest. Did that help us build a better relationship? Oh yeah, great. Worked out wonderfully. So y'all should always do due diligence in your faculty. One, to protect yourself from rotten apples, and two, to look through those common threads and see how they get through school. Makes it easier. But yeah, ultimately you have to stand behind your pot. I can't make somebody do the right thing, but should you have to tell somebody what the right things are? Should you have to make them do the right things? The fundamental basic principle of American society is we have choices. We have free will. And of course, this also goes into theological discussion, which we're not here for. We have free will. We have choices. We have the right to remain stupid, don't we? If you live in a trailer park in rural Newberry County, you're exercising your right to be stupid. If you buy, some people will argue if you buy a PC, or some people will argue if you buy a Mac, you're exercising what? Your right to be stupid. You have choice. That's what election day is about. That's what going to the store is about. That's what relationships are about. You have to do due diligence, and somebody wants to be dishonest and unethical. Unfortunately, we can't always protect against that. Even if we have rules in place, they find ways around it. We had 1933 and 1934 Securities Exchange Act passed when the Depression hit because of misleading stock investing. Did that prevent Enron and MCI WorldCom from happening? No, it didn't. People found ways around it. And we have Sarbanes-Oxley now, which adds to that big stack of laws and regulations. But we're still going to find investors getting swept up all the time. So bottom line is, whatever the rules are, what the laws are, the laws often prescribe a minimal standard in anything in life. The standard you have to set is what you're comfortable with, and it may be higher. Hopefully, it's higher than the laws often lay out. Okay. Anybody else? Here.
Do blogs really move public opinion, or do they just provide some fun for people in the echo chamber to make a lot of shots?
Both. My stuff gets passed around all the time. Kelly knows this. My stuff gets passed around, but my name on my website's a blog in all caps. You don't have to wonder who wrote it. Now I am bringing in guest contributors, but I will disclose who they are. I've got a guest cartoonist at the Rock Hills now sending me a couple, 2 or 3 cartoons a month. And you'll know who you will know Jay Waltons. I have other people starting to submit things. And I don't always totally agree with what they've written, but they're readers on my website, so I'll have them come in. And they'll want to send something to share all their own. But the idea, do we really influence mass audiences directly? No. I told you my readership is in the hundreds. Political blogs in the state are not going to get over an influence circle of several hundred on a daily basis. But let's say a reporter comes to my site, and this has happened, and finds an interesting story, and they run one. We talk about what they call agenda priming. I tell mass media what to think about it. So you come to my site, you find a really interesting tidbit, and you do a story. Then does what I write about ultimately get to a large audience? Yeah, it does. The people have been sore at me because I do a little story about dirty tricks in the political campaign, and it goes viral.